Hello friends. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome to a place where we do not just talk about English, but we uncover the hidden reasons why English feels harder than it should. So, before we begin, take a second to like this video. Subscribe to the channel and stay with me till the end. Because what you are about to hear might finally explain a struggle you have been silently carrying for years. The confusion most English learners feel. Let me ask you something honestly, and answer this to yourself, not out loud. Why is it that even after years of practice, after learning grammar, vocabulary, sentence structures, and understanding English almost perfectly, your heart still starts racing the moment you have to speak? Your mind suddenly goes blank, and even the simplest sentence feels heavy on your tongue. This confusion is exhausting, because on one side you know English, but on the other side you do not feel safe speaking it, and that gap between knowing and speaking slowly turns into self-doubt, frustration, and the dangerous belief that maybe you are just not confident enough. Why this is not a practice problem? Here is the truth most people never tell you. If practice alone created confidence, you would already be fluent and fearless by now, because you have practiced enough, you have watched enough videos, and you have tried hard enough. The real problem is not that you lack ability. The real problem is that your brain does not experience English as communication. It experiences English as evaluation. Read that again, because this single shift changes everything. How English became a silent fear. Most of us did not learn English through curiosity or expression. We learned it through corrections, exams, marks, and right versus wrong answers, where speaking English was never about sharing ideas but about avoiding mistakes. Slowly, without anyone explaining it directly, your brain learned one dangerous association: English equals judgment. And once your brain labels something as judgment, it automatically creates fear, because judgment comes with embarrassment, comparison, and the risk of looking foolish in front of others. Why your mind freezes even now. This is why your nervousness feels irrational, because it is not logical, it is emotional and conditioned. Your mind is not asking, "Can I say this sentence?" It is whispering, "What if I mess up? What if they notice my accent? What if they think I am not smart?" And here is the sentence you need to hear clearly. You have been practicing English as a skill, but your brain has been experiencing English as a threat. No amount of vocabulary can calm a nervous system that believes it is in danger. That is why you can speak fluently alone, in your head, or while reading, but the moment a real person is involved, your brain switches from language mode to survival mode, and clarity disappears. The most important realization. If you have ever blamed yourself, felt broken, or thought that something is wrong with you, pause right here, because nothing is wrong with you. What you are experiencing is a learned response, and anything that is learned can be unlearned, but only when you understand what is actually happening beneath the surface. The invisible habits that keep you nervous. Now that you understand why the nervousness exists, it is time to talk about why it stays. Because most people assume fear fades with time, but in reality, fear fades only when the patterns feeding it are broken, and without realizing it, many English learners repeat the same invisible habits every single day that quietly keep their nervousness alive. The habit of mentally translating. One of the biggest habits that keeps your brain tense is this. You try to think in your native language first, and then convert it into English. And while this may seem normal, it creates constant pressure inside your mind, because now speaking is no longer natural, it becomes a race against time. While you are speaking, your brain is not relaxed, it is busy checking words, arranging grammar, and monitoring mistakes. And when your brain is overloaded like this, nervousness is not a weakness, it is a natural reaction. This is why confident speakers sound calm. Not because they know more words, but because their brain is not multitasking while speaking. The habit of self-monitoring. Another silent habit is watching yourself while you speak, where one part of your mind is trying to communicate, and the other part is judging every sentence, every pause, every pronunciation. This internal observation creates pressure, because you cannot speak freely and judge yourself at the same time, and the moment judgment enters, your fluency drops. Here is a powerful truth. Confidence is not loud or perfect. Confidence is relaxed, and self-monitoring destroys relaxation. The habit of chasing perfection. Many learners believe that confidence will come once their English becomes perfect, but perfection is a moving target, and chasing it keeps your brain in constant alert mode. When you aim for perfection, every sentence feels risky, and risk triggers fear. This is why people with average English often sound more confident than people with good English, because they allow themselves to be imperfect. The fear of being seen learning. There is also a deeper habit that almost no one talks about, the fear of being seen while learning, where you are comfortable practicing alone, but uncomfortable practicing in front of others. This happens because somewhere along the way, you learned that mistakes are embarrassing instead of necessary, and once that belief settles in, your brain tries to protect you by making you silent. Your nervousness is not your enemy. It is your brain trying to protect your self-image. Why motivation alone never works. This is why motivational advice rarely helps, because motivation tells you to push forward, but your nervous system wants safety, not pressure. You cannot force calmness, you have to create it, and that requires changing how you interact with English on a daily basis, not how hard you try. How to finally speak English with calm confidence. Now that you clearly see where the nervousness comes from and what keeps it alive, it is time to talk about the shift that actually changes everything. Because confidence is not something you add on top of English. Confidence is something that appears when fear is removed, and fear is removed not by force, but by safety. Stop proving, start expressing. The first and most important change is this: stop trying to prove your English, because the moment you try to prove yourself, your brain assumes there is something at stake. Instead of asking, "Am I speaking correctly?" gently shift the question to, "Am I getting my idea across?" This one change moves your brain out of performance mode and into communication mode, and when communication becomes the goal, mistakes stop feeling dangerous. Train calm, not speed. Most learners try to speak faster to sound fluent, but speed increases pressure, and pressure feeds nervousness. Slow down intentionally, because calm speech sounds more confident than fast speech, and when you slow down, your brain gets time to breathe. Fluency is not speed, fluency is ease. Create low-risk speaking moments. Your brain learns safety through repetition, not logic. That is why you need low-risk speaking moments, where mistakes do not matter at all, like talking to yourself out loud, describing your day, or recording short voice notes without replaying them. These moments retrain your nervous system to associate English with safety instead of judgment. Redefine what confidence really is. Here is the biggest misunderstanding. Confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is the ability to speak even when fear is present. The goal is not to eliminate nervousness completely. The goal is to stop obeying it. And once you stop treating nervousness as a signal to stay silent, it slowly loses its power. Why this works long term. When you change how your brain feels about English, not just how much you practice it, confidence starts appearing naturally. You stop forcing sentences, you stop overthinking, and you start sounding like yourself, not perfect, but real, and real always sounds confident. If you have stayed till here, remember this one sentence: you are not bad at English, you were just taught to fear mistakes. And the moment you replace fear with familiarity, English stops being scary and starts becoming yours. If this video made you pause, think, or feel understood, like this video, share it with someone who struggles silently like you. Subscribe to the channel, because here we do not chase fluency, we build calm, confidence, and clarity step by step. Tell me in the comments, what is the one situation where English makes you most nervous? Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.